Hey, what's up, everybody? Shuckle King here, bringing you my draft analysis for APA Academy Season 3. So, pretty excited to share that I'm joining this lineup. Hopefully, you guys saw the hype video that was out a few weeks ago. It's pretty cool to get this opportunity. I told you guys I was bringing some neat stuff. I'm sure you guys didn't expect this. Before I get into my team, make sure you guys like the video if you guys like me joining this league. And hopefully I'll be doing pretty well. Maybe give a subscription as well. I'm getting closer to 100 subs, so it would be great if we could get there by the end of the season. We'll see about that. We drafted initially for APA Academy a while ago. And then with the release of Post Home, Mont available and Moves available, we decided to hold back and wait until that meta got released. And I had Asia / Manda Buzz. I had a great looking team originally, and hopefully I could recreate that same type of pretty cool team with this new draft. So how APA is going to do it. And by the way, there's some pretty cool APA coaches in this league. I'm pretty excited to fight. Diet Tight's a good battler. Mid is a cool guy. He's helping out with my team for DPL. Matt O'Shea is in the lineup. Lantern Joe is a goat. He joined a lot of my teams for EWT, which was my first Wi-Fi league and my first win for a Wi-Fi league. So that's cool that he's going to be doing it. Zach is in it. This is, I think, Zach's first Wi-Fi league, and he's gotten a lot better. I met him through the A-Drive Army Battle League. And obviously Vepsis is probably my toughest competition, I would think. And he did really well in EWT. He's also on my DPL team. And there's a bunch of other good battlers in the league as well. It's going to be a tight season, and it's going to be a lot of fun, especially because it's going to be in conjunction with regular APA League. So it's definitely going to be pretty hyped. But again, I said before, this draft is broken into two 10-person draft pools. So there's a total of 20 coaches vying for one championship. So a lot. But that's how the APA generally operates, though I think they're doing a smaller lineup for the main league. Actually, it might be the same format, but anyway. Fortunately, with the draft order released, I got the first pick in my pool, so that's great. But pre-home, I don't think we allowed Mew, but we allowed like Galarian Darmanitan, Dragapult, Aegislash. So in this league, no Mew. Post Home be broken. No Galarian Darmanitan. Even Aegislash got banned, so I was kind of surprised about that decision. It's good, but it's probably not ban worthy. But there's still a couple pretty good Mont available with the first overall pick. And as you can see here, I picked Dragapult. It was a pretty easy pick for me. Melmetal and Necrozma were also available. Necrozma is really cool because it has a Dragon Dance. In addition to a lot of cool options, as well as having reliable recovery and just being so bulky, I feel like Necrozma is going to be super good. But Dragapult, obviously pretty reliable mon, as it's shown in DPL so far. Specs just hit super hard with Ghost and Dragon Stab. It's a pretty good type combination there. Not super effective against Steels. And I guess Fairies to an extent can kind of take it on, but you don't really want to be taking Specs Shadow Balls unless if you're special defense invested. And I could easily be a Choice Banded. Choice Banded U-turned. Dragon Darts is a cool physical dragon move, and it has a very good 120 attack. So definitely you can't forget about that. Phantom Force is a little bit to be desired, but it could be a possibility. There's also like sub Will-O-Wisp Hex sets have been popular. Sub-disable sets are good for like fairies that want to run like Wish Protect, Moonblast, and Status Move or Aromatherapy or whatever. You can shut those down and probably PP stall them, which would be a little bit boring, especially with the with timer rules. But Dragapult is definitely a mon that hopefully won't be stalling, which we probably don't want for the APA League. Dragapult super fast. That's also why I got it. One of the fastest mons in the format. Overall, really solid mon, and a new mon, something I wanted to try. So next pick. So again, because I'm the wheel, 9 picks were taken in the first round, and another 9 picks were taken in the second round. So there's 18 picks in between my first and my second pick, and my third pick's going to be right after, and then it's going to be another 18 picks. So I try to draft a lot of synergies with those 2 and 3 mons, the 4th and 5th mon, etc., etc. But in this early on in the draft, I just want to make sure I get raw power, and I also try to get a good value mons. As you guys might be aware, when I draft, I tend to leave a decent amount of points for the end and draft a really good mon that just got left in the dust for some reason. Maybe I won't be doing that, but I felt like this tier 3 mon was just so good. I feel like maybe this or Snorlax, and I don't even think Snorlax got picked, which is just crazy. It didn't really fit my team, but for tier 3, my second overall pick, I picked Obstagoon, and I'm definitely the first person to pick a tier 3 mon. But Obstagoon, man, again, DPL shown that it hits super, super hard with Facades, knockoff, close combat, or low kick. It's a great combination there, and it has Obstruct, which is great to get a Flame Orb off, because with Guts, it boosts his attack super strong. Base 90 attack's not great, but with Stab Facades, it's going to be hitting hard, and Knockoff would be obviously for the Ghost types, close combat, low kick for the Steel types that could otherwise handle it, and you don't even have to run Flame Orb to be effective. There's been some creative Obstagoon sets out there, but I imagine I'll be running Flame Orb a lot, and it has a very nice speed tier. And decent bulk. Like Swallow was decent back in the day, but it was super frail. Obstagoon can take a lot of hits. So the next mon that I picked, again, it's the same, basically in the same round. So I could have picked either my third pick with the second pick or vice versa, but I picked a tier 1, and I usually don't pick 2 tier 1s in this format, just because you generally have to pick like 3 for your free agency, 3 lower tiered mons, or you have to pick a really bad quote-unquote mega. But for APA, we're doing Gigantamax mons, so that means I probably have to take a lesser one. But I was already figuring I was going to do that anyway. Potentially, there's still some good tier 1 Geomax mons, but like if I wanted like a tier 1 that like I would have considered taking in like the middle of the first round and was still available, then I'm gonna take it. So like Dragapult's really good, Milmetal, Sprokin, Necrozma, Hydreigon, Excadrill, all really good mons. But the next probably best mon didn't get picked, so I was like, okay, sure, I'm gonna get it. So that is Zeraora. And Zeraora got a lot more love as it went on. I think I said before it was like a tier 2 mon even early on, so that's pretty funny, but I think it's one of the best mons in the format, and you could say it's kind of weird that I have Dragapult and Zeraora, just because they almost have identical stats, and especially identical speed tiers, but they both do a lot of things. And what's nice about both Dragapult and Zeraora is both they can go both physical and special attacking based, so it's going to be pretty hard to figure out what they're exactly going to do, but both of them probably favor going special attacking sets, and that's nice because I've noticed that there's a lot less special attackers than physical attackers in this gen, so getting 2 very decent special attackers, and I'll be getting some more decent ones later on. It's a nice combination there, but Zeraora, again, super fast, taunt, Volt Switch, so I have momentum with all 3 of my mons. Doesn't necessarily deal with mons that help with Dragapult and Obstagoon. Like, the synergy is probably not the best, but it's just such a good mon with also access to Bulk Up and Calm Mind, so setup potential, and it's only weak to 1 type in ground, and you can run Shuca Berry pretty easily, and then go with a Grass Knot or Close Combat to take out a Steel type or a Ground type, depending what the issue is there. So Zeraora, Dragapult, Obstagoon, I really like this offensive core. I probably want to get a little bit more bulk at this point. I struggle a little bit with bulky grass types. I struggle with fairy types, though Obstagoon and Facade are going to be doing a lot of damage. And bulky steals. Again, like a Specs Dragapult Shadow Ball, definitely nothing to fear, or definitely nothing to underestimate for steel types. You got Low Kick Obstagoon, Close Combat Zeraora, but maybe something that does a little bit more damage to them. So the 4th Pokemon I got is another mon in Tier 3. I also noticed when I was preparing for the draft that there's not many spikers out there. And also want to get a reliable poison, and this poison also has toxic spikes, which is a nice plus, and that is Roserade. Roserade, base 90 speed, in a similar speed tier as Obstagoon, but that's fine. Has reliable recovery. Physical defense isn't great, but special defense is definitely nice, and I'll be able to get more physical defensive mons later on. It has another status absorber to go with Obstagoon, so I'm not as worried about a status. And I really don't have to worry about it for much of the rest of the draft. Technician's not as useful because hidden power is not a thing, which is unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that it doesn't get hidden power fire anymore to handle steals. So I'm still pretty weak to steals with this Roserade pick. But it is something that I could switch into grass types very reliably. And obviously I do great damage to fairy types. And again, the toxic spikes and spikes options paired with Dragapult and Zeraora with their speed, and Obstagoon with just his raw power, it's going to be problematic. And this fifth mon is also going to be a problem with spike support. Though I did want to shout out Arcanine would have been perfect, a perfect mon if it as something that handled bulky grass types, bulky fairy types, and bulky steel types. That would have been perfect, Arcanine. Especially with heavy duty boots, that's such a broken item. And Rotom Heat was available, so I could have gotten Rotom Heat. Arcanine has reliable recovery, which is nice. Rotom Heat doesn't have that. But Rotom Heat still would have gone well with this team too, especially because I don't have a ground resist yet. But I did not go with a fire type just yet. I'll get one later. And I also didn't get Rotom Heat because I might want a different Rotom form later on. So in this pick, I also got a mon that I've been wanting to try, and I feel like I over-prefer this mon every time I face it. And it's Mamoswine. You guys know what to do. Very strong priority. Ground Ice, it's such a great attacking dual combination typing there. It has Stealth Rocks, Thick Fat to take some hits. It has enough bulk that I can run Assault Vest sets fairly well. Speed tier is okay, but I mean, I have a lot of top tier speed anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. So I really like this top 5 combination, all super strong mons. So right now, I would say I probably want another rocker. I'm a little ground weak. I don't have a steel type yet. And I noticed there's no good stealth rock users in tier 5, and tier 4 doesn't have many, or they have a very small niche stealth rock users in tier 4. So I want to make sure I grab 2 really reliable stealth rock mons. So the next one I got from tier 4 that I think is by far the best rocker in the tier is Steelix. So I'm getting mon from, I think I'm the first person to get a mon from tier 4, first person to get a mon from tier 3, obviously first one to get it from tier 1 because I had first pick. And I'm also going to be the first one to get one from tier 5 from my very next pick. But Steelix, very strong, or very physically defensive mon. I'll be taking a lot of hits. Its power can be a little underestimated, but with sheer force, and 85 attack isn't the greatest, but it definitely can do decent damage, especially with a life orb as an attacking set. It probably doesn't have to fulfill that role too much just because I have a lot of power already on this team. But I'm a little bit weaker on the physical defensive taking hit side, so Steelix deals with that very well and can set up rocks pretty reliably. Water types are a little bit of an issue, but I do have Roserade that takes them up for no issue. And I have Zeraora to also do a lot of damage to them. Obstagoon will do a lot with Facade. Dragapult does a lot with Dracos or Shadow Balls. So not too worried about that there. So I do like the second Stealth Rock option there. And it also gives me a good Dragon and Fairy type switch in. Not an immunity, but a switch in, which is definitely nice. The next mon I got... Oh, I also probably wouldn't have gotten this tier 5 pick if my G-Max mon was available. So I would have gone for a G-Max Orbital with this pick, this plus a Steelix, but Orbital got picked one pick before me. So that was pretty unfortunate. Can't really complain too much about the draft though, because I got first overall pick. So I'll be just waiting until the end to get my G-Max mon. So I'm pretty sure no one's going to take it. So no Orbital. It would have been nice with web support, with Obstagoon, with all my speed. Oh boy, that would have been problematic. But for my tier 5 pick, I picked Rotom Frost. I don't have any hazard removal yet, so having a defog option is certainly nice, though I'm not the most stealth rock weak at this point, it's just good to have removal. Volt Switch, very strong blizzards. Has nasty plot options, so nasty plot plus electric and ice coverage. That's going to be pretty nasty there. And I could even be like a sub. Pain Split set would be very annoying to take out. Rotom's just so good in this gen with nasty plot that I figured I had to get one. And again, Rotom Heat would have been nice, but I feel like I can get versatility from other tier 2 mons. And I was pretty confident at this point I could get a tier 2 mon and wait to the very end for it. I pretty much knew what I wanted to draft at this point. So liking how my drafts look so far. Hoping that my Gmax mon sticks. Otherwise, for tier 5, Rotom Frost was really good. And for my next pick, I wanted to get another tier 5 because I knew I had to pick one. And though I have points for other mons, the tier 5 selection of mons is just really, really bad. So, like, Skuntank is probably the best mon out there with a Rotom Frost. But Skuntank didn't really make sense with my team because I have Grounded Poison already in Roserade and I have Obstagoon. So the tier 5 I picked, pretty high to pick. What is this? Pick 8? Cramorant. Cramorant, it seems pretty legit, and I feel like a lot of people underestimated its ability. People just thought it was a meme earlier on, but it can do a lot of damage with the extra just 25% if you give it a Rocky Helmet. And it's a physical attacker, then you'll be doing a lot of just raw damage. Surf is not going to be the strongest move, but it'll do a little bit of damage. And if it's under 50% and deals paralysis, that's a huge buff. So I like Cramorant there in that role. No hidden power electric. So I would most likely run like a max HP, max speed set, and just run sub, surf, and then whatever other 2 moves, roost, whatever the last move is. So I like in Cramorant. It'll be a niche pick for sure. I don't even know if I'm going to be bringing it too much, but I like what it provides more than just about any other tier 5 mon at this point. But the next mon that I wanted is a 3rd ground type, which seems a little bit crazy, but I wanted something that could reliably take hits and has recovery with Roserade, and that is Gastrodon. I feel like the combination of Gastrodon plus Roserade is a very nice defensive combination there. Gastrodon is a little bit more specially defensive than physically defensive, which is unfortunate. I could have grabbed Quagsire, that's a little bit more physically defensive, but I like the options that Gastrodon provides a little bit more, though I could definitely consider picking Quagsire. I think Gastrodon's a little bit more offensive, and I think I want that with this team. Vaporeon was also there, but the ground typing is nice. 3rd ground type. And I have Dragapult that resists electric, and Rotom Frost that resists electric, Roserade resists electric, and Zeraora resists electric. So actually I think Cramorant might be able to go in just because why would you bring an electric type against this team? It would be crazy. And Cramorant's only weak to electric and rock. Right? Yeah, it should be. And again, I have 3 ground types, so why would you bring a rock type as well? So Cramorant might be able to do some decent damage this season, but Gastrodon, just super reliable. I really like them on. It's been doing well for me for APA evolution, so I'm going to stick with it. So last 2 picks, I'm going to be picking a Gmax tier 3, which gives me 40 extra points. And with those 40 extra points, I'm able to pick up a tier 2 mon right now. So I would say the issues on my team are the speed diversity. It's weird because I have Cramorant, Rotom Frost, Mamoswine, Roserade, Obstagoon, all within base 80 to base 95 speed. I have Steelix, which is super slow, and then I have 2 really fast mons. And Gastrodon, who's also very slow. Now, I was able to do really well with EWT, even though my speed gaps were crazy. I had a lot of mons between base 95 and base 110, and then I didn't have anything until base 50, so I had a big speed gap there. I feel like speed gaps are a little bit overrated just because, I mean, your opponent knows them, so they can take advantage of it, but you also know that they can take advantage of it, so you can play around the fact that they're probably not going to be investing a lot of speed in those mons, so you could just not invest a lot of speed in your faster mons anyway. So it's not that big of an issue to me. though it is nice to have that speed diversity ideally. So my Gmax mod that I got that gives 40 extra points is Gigantamax Colossal. So very interesting. I mean, it rapid spins, which is nice, especially because I have spikes from Roserade and I have spikes from Colossal. I don't really see much value in the actual Gmax form of Colossal, just because I do want to be getting rocks and spikes up ideally. The Gmax move is pretty cool. It just does residual damage over time like a fire spin. And it's very bulky, so I need mons that take hits with this team, because I have Roserade and Gastrodon and Steelix, are like my quote-unquote bulkier mons. So another one is also very nice. For water types, I have Gastrodon that pairs with it, so it takes water types hits if it wants to get hit by it, and Roserade as well. And for ground type hits, I have my last mon as well as Rotom, Frost, and Crabmaran all take ground hits. So I feel like Colossal fits pretty well with this team, and having a fire type is nice for the bulky fairy types that I can take hits with really no issues. The thing is with all our Gmax mons, so we have to have a Pokeball attached to it, so that's pretty funny, but we can't abuse any items. So that's why I wasn't as enamored with getting a higher tiered Gigantamax mon, just because they're not going to be having any items. So like Lapras can't have Light Clay and have a Roarville up longer, and Snorlax can't have leftovers or berries, so like it's not as useful there. Hatterene can't get a Life Orb, so I wasn't as enamored with the Gigantamax mons. So with my last pick, a tier 2 pick, again, probably one of the at least top 10 tier 2s, I would imagine, maybe a little bit higher, but something that could take on dark types, as my dark resist right now is Obstagoon, and something that take on dragon types, which I have a Steelix for, but my last mon that does not address the speed tier show that I have is Togekiss. Togekiss, I'm still surprised it lasted, but it's another Defog mon to pair with Rotom, Frost, and Colossal, so Togekiss is definitely the most reliable hazard removal. It has a Wish support, surprisingly, so I might be able to pass Wishes into Zeraora or Dragapult or Obstagoon. It's a Cleric. Obviously, you can go Choice Scarf, Air/Flinch, and just win games at that point. It has a lot of options. Could even go physical, I suppose. But yeah, no, this is my team for APA Academy. I'm pretty stoked about it, and I feel like I have a really cool team. Yes, my speed tiers are weird, but I'm not too worried about it. Maybe I'll make a move or two to fix it, but I just like all the mons on my team, and it's just a lot of power. So we'll see how the season goes. But until next time, later, guys.